Hello everybody, welcome back to Steph's Movies and Music. I am, of course, your host, Steph. Today we are here to talk about one Daryl Hall and the show that he just put on in St. Louis, Missouri. That said, we are also going to talk about his opening act, which is Glenn Tilbrook, the lead singer of Squeeze. We're going to talk about how I felt about the concert, the quality of Daryl Hall's voice, the quality of the rest of the musicians that he had on stage. We're going to talk about Glenn Tilbrook a little bit too, and his set list. We're also going to talk about Daryl Hall's set list. I kind of have something to say about pretty much everything. So at the very beginning, they come out, Daryl Hall walks out, he's got like this weird hat on. It's been a thing that he's been doing for like the last couple years, I think. They opened up with this song called The Whole World's Better, which is off of one of the newer albums that Daryl Hall put out. Daryl Hall actually sounded pretty good. He was up there playing keyboards on this. Then the next song he played was one of his solo hits, probably the biggest solo hit that he ever had, which is called Dreamtime. And he sounded pretty good on that too, actually. It's something while he was playing Dreamtime. He wasn't really singing the chorus a whole lot. And when he did, he was a little bit off sync. He wasn't in sync with the rest of the band. Went on and played another song from his solo career, which is called Foolish Heart. And both of those are off of the same album, Three Hearts, something, something, something. I forget the name of the album. I don't have it, or else I'd show it to you. But anyway, and that went okay too. But once again, he wasn't really singing during the chorus. It was mainly all the other musicians were kind of doing most of the work. And then as the show kept on going on and on, things just got worse. Honestly, after the third or fourth song, it was really clear that Daryl Hall does not sound good. And then, it just, honestly, his voice kept getting worse and worse throughout the night. 10, 15 years ago, he still sounded okay. He really needs to hang it up. And what makes it even worse is at the very end of the show, he's like, "I'll see you next time." It's like, wow, there's gonna be a next time? There doesn't need to be a next time. There shouldn't have even been a this time. I mean, you should have backed it up a while ago, it seems like. Like, there is a difference between sounding bad and sounding freaking embarrassing. This is embarrassing. It's past bad at this point. And unfortunately, that's not the only problem I have with the concert. Pretty much the whole time, he's kind of like off tempo the whole time. And I already mentioned the problem during the choruses. All the backing musicians are kind of singing the chorus for Daryl, and Daryl just kind of pitches in whenever he feels like it, and it doesn't really work. It really doesn't work. It sucks because it seems like he's not even trying. Hence is why it's all off tempo. He's really barely singing the songs at this point. It's just him making weird noises at this point because his voice does not sound good anymore. Another thing that I do have to mention is right in kind of towards the middle of the show, he got kind of political. He said he wasn't going to get political, and then he got political, which is what everybody does whenever they say, "I'm not going to get political." They end up getting political about 4.5 seconds later. That's typically what happens after those words are said. It just seems to be that way.
Enough of this. This is like wrong in every possible way. If you all agree with me, please agree with me. I'm not going to get political, but man, we got to do something. So stand up. Don't go to dinner with either.
Yeah, and literally the people directly to the left of me left after that. I mean, it seemed like they had already kind of seen enough at that point. They were like, okay, he sounds awful, but hey, the music sounds good, so we're just gonna stay. And then they got political, and so then they left. I mean, it was yeah. That's why you should not get political with your audience at all. If you're a celebrity, don't. Because you're going to piss off probably about half of your audience, if not more. You're alienating them. Because now, this guy supports this guy. I don't like that. I don't support that guy, so I can't support him anymore. And unfortunately, that's how people are. I don't really care. I've never been one to judge other people for their political views, and I've certainly never been one to cut someone off or stop talking to somebody because of their political views. I don't care. Everybody deserves their own opinion, and everybody can share their own opinion to an extent, but when you're at a concert, we're not here to hear your opinion. We're here to hear you play music. It's already bad enough you sound like absolute and now we have to listen to you banter about politics. I mean, it's not good. Moving on to the next topic, I'm going to tackle the set list. Now, they played a lot of what you would expect to hear. For example, they played, like I said, I already mentioned Dreamtime and Foolish Heart. They did play Sarah Smile.
When I feel like you can hold me. 'Cause it's you and me forever.
Played Private Eyes, Kisses on My List, and they played Rich Girl. And I believe all three of those songs went to the top of the Billboard Hot 100. They all went to number 1.
I see you see me, but you know where the lies, and when they say, "Go, girl," I don't know. Love is on my way. You is everywhere. The best thing
played I Can't Go For That, No Can Do. That one, I think, actually went over okay. I mean, once again, Daryl Hall did not sound good at all, but everything else kind of made up for it. Honestly, that's been the thing this whole concert, is the rest of the band is literally what's holding up this concert. If the backing band is the main attraction here and not the person that we paid money to see, that is a bad thing. So anyway, then they played One on One, and then they played You Make My Dreams. Went over kind of okay. Not as good as I Can't Go For That, but it was okay. It was okay. And part of it is probably just because I love that song so much. I know it's super mainstream. That went to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. So yeah, they played a lot of the songs that you would expect them to play. Now let's talk about what they didn't play. Adult Education, She's Gone, Maneater, Family Man, Did It in a Minute. I mean, like, you know, those are all big hits. You've Lost That Love and Feeling. I mean, I guess the most surprising that they didn't play was Maneater. I mean, once again, that was another number 1 hit. Not to say that the rest that I named weren't, but that's a big, ginormous staple as far as Hall & Oates songs go, and they didn't play Maneater. And it's not like it's a hard song to sing, and there's not a lot of high notes in it or anything. I'm sure Daryl Hall would have found some way to f*** it up anyway, but once again, it's not a hard one to sing. Easier than a lot of the other ones that there are. I mean, Sarah Smile is a hard one. You Make My Dreams is a pretty hard one. Played all of those. Not Maneater. It just blows my mind. And you know, Hall & Oates has a pretty extensive catalog. I do not by any means expect them to play every single one of their top 40 hits, because they have a lot of them. You could even go deeper. Possession Obsession, that went to like number 33. Wait For Me went to like number 18. But you know, I figured they'd play probably all of like the top 10s, and then they would dig a little bit deeper. Maybe play like It's Uncanny, which is one of their earlier songs. I think it came out around the same time that She's Gone came out. But yeah, I mean, they left out a lot of big Hall & Oates hits. Besides Maneater, they left out Out of Touch, Say It Isn't So, Method of Modern Love. Those are all top 5 hits from the Billboard Hot 100 from whenever they came out, all of which were like around the same time, probably mid 80s, I think. Anyway, yeah, it blows my mind how much they left out, but it seems like Daryl Hall just kind of does whatever the hell he wants to do. I got that energy. I hate to say that because that's what the rest of my generation likes to say, and I pretty much hate everything my generation says and does. But anyway, yeah, I got that energy from him. It was really, and knowing what he's done to John Oates and how much he's fought with him, it seems like John Oates is kind of an easygoing guy. I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but it seems like most of the hostility is coming from Daryl Hall's side. And it's, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this concert. It was not a good concert. I had enough fun to justify spending what I spent. I spent $80, but I was in the 4th row. So I can't really complain for $80, 4th row seats, especially with how concerts usually cost nowadays. That ain't $80 is really nothing for a 4th row seat. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the backing musicians. All of them did a great job. Hell, I gotta give credit where it's due. Daryl Hall even did a good job playing instruments. He's a good piano player. He's a good guitar player. Nothing to really write home about, but all of that was fine. The singing really is what did it for me. And not a good kind of did it. It was a bad did it. So yeah. I will say I did buy a t-shirt from the show. And I didn't really get a good look at it before, but it's a pretty decent looking shirt. Yeah, I like it. There's a big D here for Daryl. Oh, hey, yo, the big D. Anyway, that was needlessly dirty. Anyway, yeah, it's a pretty cool shirt. Live from Daryl House band, which was pretty cool, and I got to shake hands with one of them. Moving on to Glenn Tilbrook real quick. Glenn Tilbrook, once again, is the lead singer and also lead guitar player of the band Squeeze, which is a British band. I think they got their start in like the mid 70s, late 70s maybe. Didn't make that big of a splash over here in the States, but in the UK they had quite a few bigger hits. I think they had probably 3 big hits here. Only 2 of them were actually in the top 40, but the other one was big on like mainstream rock stations, and that one was called Tempted, which he did sing. Sung one of the top 40 hits called Hourglass. Hourglass went to number 15, and I believe Tempted went to number 49, I want to say, but it went to like number 8 on the mainstream rock charts, so that was pretty cool. And honestly, Glenn Tipton sounded pretty good. He kind of impressed me, actually. I don't know his exact age. I'm pretty sure he's in his 70s, and he sounded great, especially when you compare him to Daryl Hall. I'm sorry, Daryl. I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just being truthful. You suck. You need to stop. You need to retire. You're 78. It's okay to retire at 78. You have the money. Finish this tour out if you have to, and stop. There doesn't need to be a next time. We're good. Anyway, going back to Glenn Tilbrook. The set list was about what I expected. Once again, especially, I mean, if we were in the UK, then he probably would have played a lot more of those songs that were big hits. He played pretty much everything that I would expect Squeeze to play here in the States. They played the 2, maybe even they might have even played the 3rd big hit, and I just didn't realize it. I don't know. But he played all the songs that made the most sense here. I hope that made sense. Probably didn't. Anyway, the rest of the band put on such a great show that I really feel bad saying such bad stuff about this concert. And Glenn Tilbrook did a great job too. So it really, the only reason why I just would not recommend seeing Daryl Hall is Daryl Hall. That's the biggest reason. And everything that I had just told you. I mean, it really is a bummer. No, I would not recommend seeing Daryl Hall and the Daryl House Band. Actually, if you could just see the Daryl House Band, that's fine, as long as it's without Daryl Hall. Hell, even if Glenn Tilbrook just went out there instead of Daryl Hall, you'd be fine. Honestly, that'd be great. I know you guys just saw some footage from the concert, but if you guys are interested, I'll be posting full-length videos from this show, from both people, from both acts, and that'll go up at some point in 2026, I think. Once again, I'm always backlogged. Maybe at some point I'll actually kind of catch up with myself, but for right now I'm pretty far booked out. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I made everything clear enough to you guys. The concert was at this place called the Stiefel Theater, which is a beautiful place. It's an older building, I believe. I'm sure it's been remodeled or renovated or whatever you want to call it, but it's a beautiful place. In between, during the intermission between Glenn Tilbrook and Daryl Hall, I just walked around, and it was breathtaking. If you're ever in St. Louis and you got a chance to go stop by Stiefel Theater, I'm pretty sure they'll let you go in there. It's such a great looking place, and it's really cool. I know St. Louis gets kind of a bad rap. It's a nice place to be around in certain areas. You just gotta be careful at nighttime. So anyway, guys, I hope this made sense. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, so I'm kind of rusty at it. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please think about subscribing, and if you do subscribe, please make sure you hit the bell for all those notifications, and like and comment, please. Have you ever seen Daryl Hall, or Hall & Oates, or Glenn Tilbrook, or Squeeze? Please, I'm very interested in knowing. Do you have any of their albums? Yada yada yada. I'd love to talk to you guys. I respond to almost everybody, unless you're a jerk, in which case, probably ignore you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. This has been Steph, and I'm signing the hell out.